Welcome to Clause 8. You're watching a short clip from one of our full episodes, featuring real conversations with the leaders shaping IP.
Tell us a little bit more about that business model piece. Like, what are the business models that you were able to use maybe in the past that kind of you have to be more careful about now, or you kind of have to adjust?
Yeah, there's a couple of different aspects. I mean, when you have broad pioneering patents at the onset of a technology, the strategy there could be, as we had in our early days, that building core patents, a portfolio of core patents, and then licensing those patents to fields of use. So there may be an industry where we as a small company couldn't actually deploy products in an ecosystem like the consumer electronics industry or for audience measurement. And so in the media industries, it made much more sense to essentially license the patents to the larger players in the ecosystem. So patent licensing made sense. As the years go by, monetizing your inventions in a classic way by creating a barrier to entry around your products and services makes more sense as the technology matures and is used in more applications. So over this arc of my career protecting this technology and setting strategy, it's kind of gone through that arc of raw kind of IP licensing, then technology licensing, in the middle kind of using the technology to form ventures with companies where you can exploit the IP on their core business, but then joint venture to develop new applications for the IP so you can expand the addressable market. And then ultimately, a more classic approach as the technology gets more mature is to use patents on specific improvements and use cases to protect and create a barrier around a product, a particular use case.
So that's interesting. In the beginning, correct me if I'm wrong, Digimarc was focused on innovating, and then they were kind of licensing out their technologies to others to kind of implement the innovations that you were coming up with. Did you notice there was a period of time when maybe those changes that you discussed in the patent system where you were getting more pushback, or did it just was it a more natural kind of, the Digimarc just kind of luck out that the arc followed that? Because you make it sound easy, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, it's very dependent upon where we came out. I think our timing was great because the patent system was really strong in the early days, and it allowed us to set really kind of a brand as being an innovator and a holder of strong IP in the early days. So that set the framework for a robust licensing program. We did have to litigate our patents early on, and that established our IP brand. And from that point on, we were able to license our IP and with not as much friction, without having to enforce the patents as we moved on. And so by the time there were more tools for implementers to challenge patents, we had already established a pretty strong brand and innovative, a strong brand in IP licensing that, we have a strong portfolio. And we just built a strategy of, not being complacent with the innovation that we had, always thinking about what are the disruptive technologies to our core technology and thinking about innovating in those adjacencies and incorporating those in our portfolio. But ultimately, the core patents are going to expire at some point, and we are now developing a model that can scale, that can also get much greater valuation in the financial markets, which is a platform as service or software as service model where the focus is on getting subscriptions to that platform for use of our technology, and also delivering then network services from the platform that can garner that recurring revenue stream.